Hello, fellow rebel capitalists. Hope you're well. I wanted to go over an idea that I've been contemplating for quite some time, and especially today, since I had that video removed earlier for quote unquote medical misinformation when I wasn't even the one that was doing or giving the medical misinformation according to them. That was actually a clip from Fauci that I played going back to March or April 2020. But if it can get to that level of insanity with our overlords in social media, what's next? Can we get to a point where you're banned or you're silenced, you're deplatformed for not just having the wrong opinion or a dissenting view or even questioning certain, let's see, health aspects, but maybe it's economic. I mean, a lot of you on this live stream right now, I'm sure, have gone on social media and said, "Oh no, that CPI number, that's completely bogus. That's not real. There's no way. The real rate of CPI, consumer price inflation, is 15%, 20% at least. That CPI number that you got from the government is totally fake news." I mean, couldn't that be considered economic misinformation? How could you dispute something that's coming from the government? How dare you? You're putting all of your fellow citizens at risk if you're trying to brainwash them with your alt-right views. You could be harming them. This could be critical to society that we all see economic data in one way. And if you dissent from that view, well, then you're obviously someone who's incredibly dangerous. And you need to be silenced. You see, I mean, I'm saying this in jest, but it's not too far of a leap, is it? And to prove my point, I want to just go over this clip from this video on Zero Hedge. Actually, we're going to go over two stories from Zero Hedge just to show you how insane people are right now, right here in the United States. How divisive our world has become. I mean, things that I would have thought were unimaginable in the United States are actually occurring daily at breakneck speeds. And these problems that we see in society are only getting worse. They're not getting better. And we can thank the mainstream media, we can thank the global elite, we can thank the politicians. All of these things have played a role into this extreme divisiveness and just hysteria that we're seeing throughout society. So if my point is, if society can be this crazy and hate each other this much, is it a wild stretch to think that there would be a lot of people out there that would be in favor of censoring you for just saying that inflation is running at 20%? Or maybe that UBI was a bad idea. Maybe Build Back Better, bad idea. Those views are very, very dangerous. Let me show you this video from Zero Hedge. And this is a gal that, according to this article, and this is TMZ, who knows, this isn't, I can tell you this is not Photoshop or it's not edited to look this way, but who knows why they're in this confrontation. But what this gal, at least with this clip, she's yelling at the guy for not wearing a mask. Now, is that the reason she was so angry? Who knows? Maybe she was drunk. Maybe she was pissed off at him for saying something else. And then she just started, just shouting that just because that's the only thing that she could shout. I don't know. But it just goes to show you. I mean, I wish for all of the young people watching this video right now, I wish I could take you back in time, just to the 1970s or the 1980s, and what it was like to fly back then. I remember it well. I remember the first time I actually flew in a plane by myself. I think I was maybe it was prior to my parents getting, or no, maybe it wasn't prior to them getting a divorce. Maybe it was, maybe I was probably 7 years old. This is when I flew by myself for the first time. And I remember my mother would dressed me up in like a little sport jacket and some nice shoes, like church clothes. Like that's how you presented yourself when you went on a plane. I mean, it was a big deal. And everyone would kind of get suited and booted. They're going on a plane, they're going on a flight. And now I would challenge you to go to an airport and find anyone that doesn't look like they just rolled out of bed. But I don't want to get tied up on how we have devolved as a society on plane. And the young people probably think that when they see the gals walking around in their pajamas and the guys that are barefoot with their dog in the airport, I think they think that's just normal. They haven't seen the progression. It's just staggering. But my point is, I mean, I can't even comprehend seeing something like this on an airplane in the 70s, 80s, I mean, even 10 years ago, right? But now this is the level of insanity that we're seeing in society. And this isn't just a one off. I mean, you're seeing stuff like this in the news constantly. And it really fits when you see society through the lens of the fourth turning. But watch just a little clip of this video. Let me adjust the mic here.
You're going to jail. That's assault. You're going to jail. As soon as we get in Atlanta, you're going to jail. Bitch. Karen. Why you spit on me? Now you double this to jail. Bitch.
You fucking piece of shit.
Piece of pussy. Sit down, Karen. Sit down, Karen. Sit down, pussy. Look, she punched me.
Put your fucking mask on. Tell him to put his mask on. Put your fucking mask on.
There you go. So that's the world we're living in today. And again, I don't know if that was her initial reason for getting pissed off at him. And who knows? But this is the level of anger and divisiveness that, I mean, there's always, I mean, people always got in fights. But, I mean, not like this. I mean, a guy and a girl getting in a fight, I mean, on a plane. I mean, this is just, it's like we're living in some sort of bizarre parallel universe. I mean, and it's never about what it's about. Meaning, these people have this pent up animosity, not for each other, but regarding something else. I mean, I'm 99% sure of it. It's always how these things play out. And they're just at their tipping point, and they just happen to get on a plane, and one person pisses off the other person. And next thing you know, we have this explosion in emotion. But this is what you get when you lock people in their house, when you destroy their business, when you pay people to be unproductive. You take away their meaning in life. And temporarily, they can say, oh, this is fantastic. I'm being paid. I don't have to go to work. But then after 6 months of being on Zoom and not seeing people's facial expressions and drinking that box of wine every single night, their life is stripped of meaning. And it is true they don't have to go to work. It is true they don't have to go into the office anymore. But those pent up emotions that are a result of people's meaning being stripped away from them have to come out somewhere. There's got to be a release valve. And in my opinion, this is what you get. This is what you get. Now, is she maybe pissed off at him because he's not, or he wasn't, wearing a mask at the time? Maybe. But I think there's a lot more to it than that. Now, keeping things on topic here, let's go back to this idea of whether or not we could see economic censorship in the future. We understand how crazy society is, and we can understand that there are people like this gal, assuming that was her beef and that she has all this pent-up anger and whatnot. If she's directing it at this guy for not wearing a mask, I'm sure she would direct it online for someone for saying something that the media is telling her and CNN is telling her is dangerous for society, such as people who think that we should not have UBI, or people that think that we shouldn't do Build Back Better, or people that think that the government is lying about the CPI number. And let's look at what they're doing in Turkey right now. So the president of Turkey, I can never pronounce his name, but he is now filing criminal complaints against economists. Why? For criticizing his policy. I understand this is not the United States, but I think it is ironic that the United States is in a very similar position, though they're not as far down the road, but we could be in a very similar position in 2022 to Turkey right now. Meaning the problem with Turkey is they're experiencing high rates of inflation, but the president doesn't want them to raise interest rates because he knows it'll crash the economy. And therefore, he's saying that we shouldn't raise interest rates, we should lower interest rates. And the economists are coming out saying, no, that's a terrible plan. You're just going to exacerbate the problem. You could stoke the fire of hyperinflation. And he's saying, how dare you? I'm going to file criminal charges against you for having a dissenting view, a dissenting economic view. So is it, again, understanding the environment of social unrest, insanity, emotions that are just at their tipping point? Is it a stretch, based on what we're seeing right now with censorship, is it a stretch to believe that we may see the same level, if not even more extreme level of censorship for economic views in 2022 and 2023? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge. I'm just presenting this as a potential. It's not a prediction. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying it's something we need to consider. And if we don't consider these types of outcomes, no matter how crazy they may seem, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're not walking through life, your financial life especially, with your eyes open. And the more you can understand the world around you, the better decisions you can make for the future of yourself and your family. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Always stand up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism. We'll see you in the